From what I've seen, there are generally speaking, about two types of persons in life. The way they react, the way they interact with others. There are going to be persons who kind of not bully others, but they always have this idea of a little bit of controlling others, but also a sort of, having others do what they want. And the second type of persons is obviously the opposite, the ones that would kind of receive this attitude, this small, if you want, domination or so. Of course, I'm just exaggerating the words. It doesn't mean it's always like this. But there's just these two types are pretty much, I think, universal. And if you want the ones that don't want to dominate, I would call them the nice persons. And also these nice persons, there is a good chance they are also more respectful towards others. They stay at their place, right? While the dominant ones, they don't stay at their place. They just try to take more space from the other space, basically. And obviously there are going to be many levels, right? So not everybody is the same. You may see this very strongly at bullies. That's an extreme. But even if you don't talk about bullies, there's always a category of people who just, I would call them maybe they are not that empathic towards others, and they just kind of want things for themselves. More self-centered people. Again, I repeat, there are many levels of this. And I find it, I don't know, is it a coincidence or not, but it's a reflection. If you look in the animal kingdom, animals, it's already very clear there are going to be, very, very generally speaking, animals that are going to prey on others and animals that are going to be preyed on. It's not always necessarily herbivores and carnivores, there are also omnivores. But look at just whatever, you can watch documentaries and so on. It's always like this. And the difference between the two is striking. Let's take an example, maybe one of the more extreme ones. Look at a tiger eyes, not the fur or colors, or just look at the eyes. I think that's a place where you can get some information somehow. They try the same with the bear. Anything like this, right? Just look at the eyes. You have these documentaries, there's plenty of them, and oftentimes you'll find close-up. And you see in that eyes is that it's a ferociousness. I think it's an English word, hopefully. You see that you just, I don't know what the words are exactly to describe that stare in a predatory animal, the most ferocious ones, but it's just not a comforting look. It's intimidating, it's savage, I would say, maybe not always, but so animals also have this kind of bipolarity. I don't know if that's the correct I don't know if that's really how you describe this, but these two types are also present to animals. And I feel like there is some sort of similarity to a point in humans. Obviously, you are going to get humans who are really crazy, and they're going to do really bad things. But even just regular persons, look at the place of your work, where you work. Just look at the people. There's always this kind of, and that's same for men and women. It's not a matter of men only. You always have this kind of people who want to kind of, I don't know, I would say dominate others, kind of, have a way to have others more or less obey them. Obviously, this is going to be very much present because these are the same people in your family. And I had this experience actually especially with my father. I'm not saying he was a really dominating person. I'm sure and convinced there are worse than this. I've seen them in my working places more than once, and maybe if you are, I don't know, maybe, I know there are a few viewers from outside Canada or North America, but if you are somewhere in Europe, you watch this video and think, oh, Canada has to be a nice place and so on. Well, I'm not having good news. I did meet for sure nice persons, but you will have a very good chance to meet this kind of dominating persons. Depends on the kind of work you are doing. If you are looking for the lower education jobs, there's a lot of these people there. Basically, they are preferred oftentimes managers and so on. Could be also owners, business owners. Anyhow, all this to say that these kind of persons, I would define myself the second kind, not the one that wants to dominate. And it's also a matter of education, right? I think I got a decent education, and I just kind of have this attitude of just kind of respecting others and not trying to take advantage of anyone. But the other kind of persons, those are dominating ones, they cause a lot of pain. And that's the point with my video, basically. So if they were just leaders, or I don't know, just one kind of, we need people to lead others, or at least to manage others. That's okay. That's very logical. Politics and everything, owning companies and so on. But it's not about leadership here. It's really about an attitude. And these kind of persons, at least a part of them, they cause suffering. If you want, again, a more extreme example are the bullies. But even if it's not someone who's a real bully, it's still annoying, at least annoying and uncomfortable to have such persons around you. Again, school, working place, family, neighbors. It's still annoying to have these people around you, and in the long term, it makes your life difficult. And again, it's not going to be one person. It's going to be several of them. There were videos about how to deal with bullies, and you need to understand that these dominating persons are pretty good with dealing and having their own aggressiveness, more or less. But there is no way to, if you are the kind person type, there is no way to deal with these dominating persons by reacting aggressively or just frustration, simply frustration. It's so difficult because they are, I don't know, the tough ones. They are the kind of mean ones to a certain level, obviously. And they are the ones who know about this kind of emotion the best. So they are going to win the beef. And yes, I was talking about those some videos on YouTube, how to deal with a bully. Bully, of course, is someone even worse. And it depends on the person. I'm talking how a kind person should deal with a bully. It depends on the kind of person, the personality of that kind person. Not everybody can do what others are saying, so it depends on you. If you are that kind of person listening this, and I'm just giving tips, but again, it's going to really depend on your abilities, skills, strength, and so on. It may not apply always. Perhaps at the working place is more difficult, but ignoring a bully is perhaps the worst for that bully. Is the worst thing that can happen to a bully, being ignored. So that would be an idea. Again, easy, not necessarily. Just being unemotional with such bully, it's another way, and that's what I was doing. Unemotional. Now, if you are 20 years old, you don't understand what I'm saying about unemotional. It comes with your inner maturity, inner personality, inner just, when you kind of know yourself and just have peace with yourself, right? If you settle down inside you, then you may understand what I mean by being unemotional, having an unemotional contact with a bully. But think about this way: bullies feed on emotions. You'll find more information online. Bullies feed also on dominating. They also feed on being aggressive, also disrespectful. If you cut the connection, the emotional connection with such person, they are going to kind of be missing something that they can hook on. I think I was saying this in a video someplace. Being unemotional with a bully, or even with someone who's trying to dominate you or just disrespect you or taking your space, it works obviously in the way you behave, if you're on face mimic or so on, face expressions, but also especially in the way you talk with that person. And I'm just going to give you an example. Maybe I'm talking at this point with someone I don't like. Maybe I'm trying to tell someone something to that person, and this is, I don't know if you did notice something, there's sort of a change in my voice at that point. I don't know if you did notice it. Again, it's not something necessarily that can be shown on video, but it's just talk like, not like a robot, but talk unemotional, talk just be cold. Don't think, be distant, but at any point don't try to appear frustrated, aggressive, angry, mean. Don't take any of those emotions, because the bully knows them better than an Olympic champion. It's his playground, so don't go on his playground by any means. Just be distant, be a robot towards such person. And it's very difficult to learn this thing and to get used to it, because it has to be constant. And I had an experience with this kind of individuals working workplace especially, but not only. They are also very, hopefully I'm pronouncing well, cunning. So they know how to manipulate. They know, I give an example. One day, someone was one of these persons. And one morning, I came at my job and that person comes in front of me with a smile and say, "Hi, how are you doing?" Very friendly. And I was naive by then, and I said, "Wow, okay, this guy, turns out he changed." I'm not sure if it was a guy or a lady, but I was on the spot. I was thinking, okay, wow, friendly. Okay, now I can get a friendly connection with this person. So I did answer the same way. I did answer friendly to that person. 2 seconds later, all hell broke loose. He basically, or she, used my open attitude to strike. And but even when this happens, by the way, don't lose, don't get discouraged. Even if it hits you, if it hurts you, at some point, you can always go back on the tracks and be cold with that person. Keep going cold. Don't think, oh, if he put me down once, then I cannot do my cold, unemotional game with that person any longer. Wrong. Do it. Do it. You will see. They don't know how to react, those people. They don't know how to deal with a few things. Also, I want to say something about maybe throwing this in, oh yes, a working place. You know why a bully, oftentimes it's a manager. You know why he or she is doing that to you? Because they know, oftentimes, you cannot quit that job. You cannot go away. They know they have power over you. The power of you being stuck with that job for whatever reason. Maybe it's, who knows, it's hard to find another job, so on, so on. They know it. So they take advantage of it. It's like you are in their yard, basically, and the doors is locked. For this, basically, there's no two ways out. You need to leave that job, basically. There's no other way. Think about yourself. If you can cope with it, that's okay. But look in the future. You have 5-10 years to spend at that place. So can you deal with this? It's up to you. One tip: never assume a bully will change. Never assume it will turn into a nice person. Never assume this. Maybe that may happen. Who knows? Maybe 1 in 10, 1 in 100, maybe. They may turn into a nice person one day. But I never take that for, that's the solution, or, I don't think that way. And that's difficult, very difficult, because we always have this kind of hope to us. And especially if you are married, if you live in a family, or if you're just a parent, or maybe brother or someone else, and you are stuck with that person, maybe if it's a couple for the rest of your life, it's up to you to be optimistic, but I don't know. Yes, I was speaking about family, and hopefully I'm going to finish the video about on this last topic. Besides being married with the bully, or someone dominating, or someone that kind of, it's painful to live with, I don't know if it's worse, but in some way it's worse to actually be a child and have 1-2 parents like this, or who knows, maybe a grandfather. So I think this is worse, because a child is so much less strong. A child doesn't have tools to help herself. It's so much worse for a child, and he doesn't understand what's happening, and it's terrible. It's terrible, but there's not a lot of you can do. I would maybe recommend, perhaps not to a child, maybe even to a child if you can reason this way, but especially perhaps for teenagers. Just, I'll tell you something. One of my, let's call it pains, was that I did not have warm parents. I think I know what a warm parent means. Friendly person means. And I can tell you, because of this pain, that's exactly this warmth, how I try to be with my children, to show them human warmth, basically. Obviously, you need to do education with them, right? So don't act with your children like you are a child yourself, a friendly child. That's not the right way. But human warmth, and just tell them you love them and everything. Listen to them, talk to them. You can do it. And it's really important perhaps to understand that you may be, even if you suffer through your childhood, you now know, and you may have the opportunity to show good towards your children, if you ever have children. So keep this in mind. Maybe this gets you optimistic about. But also keep in mind that this may be genetically related. So in the future, just look at yourself. Pay attention to yourself. Just live your life like you have a mirror in front of you. If you notice that you have bad reactions towards your children, just careful with this, right? Remember, you must make an effort not to give them what you received yourself in your childhood. And by the way, this happens when you are yourself, when you become yourself as a human. I don't know if I did the video about this, perhaps. When you are yourself, you find peace in yourself. You have a balance. And you don't react that easily or harshly to something that's distressful around you. Children can cause problems and so on. And so just try to find this inner peace in yourself. Maybe if you believe in God or something like this, try to do a small prayer, help me, or something like this. I was saying, you also, as a parent, we need, at least that was my experience, we need to think, to anticipate, to understand, to reason. How can I do better with my children? How can I deal with this situation? Anticipate. You want to do something with your children, just think a little bit in advance. Is it really worth that effort? Are they going to be happy if you carry them several hours in a very hot day, hungry and so on? Just anticipate this thing. We need to think. We need to use our brain when you raise children. That's how it goes, at least my experience. You need to think about it. But I was saying about being a child or a teenager and having difficult parenthood, right? Parents that are dominating or so on. I would suggest for such a teenager or even a younger child, if they are able to think like this, maybe 10, 12 years old, I would suggest just think about this point. You are yourself. You are not a ping pong ball, I think or a tennis ball, the tennis ball of your parents. Of course, they are going to play with you the wrong way. but you will always be yourself. And once you are an adult and you leave the home, you will have your own life. You will definitely know that you missed a better parenthood in childhood. You will definitely understand this, but you need to accept this thing, right? It's not everybody who had the chance to have great parents or good parents. That's how it goes in life. Other people have car accidents and suffer from that, so that's how it goes. So remember this thing, you are always you yourself. You are not a part of your parents, right? So and this perhaps should kind of give you oftentimes a much needed inner balance, even if you have a difficult life at home with your parents, even if you know I'm going to return back from school and my mother or my father is going to yell at me and try to start again to intimidate me and so on and so on, maybe a brother or a sister, who knows. Just try to imagine this inner peace. These are real things. These are not stories. When you say inner balance, inner peace, it exists. And I believe it's for most people, at least for the kind people, not for the mean ones. It does apply. It's inside kind people, this kind of inner balance. Again, I'm not saying this is for everyone, but don't hesitate to, how to say this? Anyhow, remember that thing. Some people, I want to say, don't hesitate to say a prayer. But again, prayer, listen, it's just my personal opinion. Not everybody believes in God, or at least not in maybe a Christian God. But I don't know. Maybe think about it this way. Some people do believe this, and some people may have had an experience that shows that's true. It's up to everybody. My personal opinion on this, I feel like it's actually, if you are a believer, it's actually God who helps you with this kind of contact. So if you feel like this, just say a small prayer. Say something like this: please God, help me. It's not about repeating this 2,000 times a day. That's a train. It's just a simple call, and from there, who knows? Maybe yes, maybe no. But for some people, this may also, it's finishing now. For some people, this may also help. But even without this, I think everybody, at least the kind persons, can. I was thinking it's over, but no, it's worse. Every kind person at any age can just be with themselves, interiorly speaking, inside of you, what your emotions, what you feel, the emotions that you feel inside you. You can be with yourself and be in a certain degree of balance, inner equilibrium. Some people, some young persons, children, teenagers, have been hurt so much that this is really difficult to feel, to understand. I know there are, I've seen people, teenagers for instance, who hurt themselves because they kind of try to overcome some inner pain. So that tells you there's a lot of pain inside you, right? Just to imagine what such person may be feeling. And I absolutely understand this, and I think it's very, very real. But I think, I don't know, I just have this feeling. I'm not talking theory here, and I'm not talking optimism, like idealism. I'm really saying that I think every person, at least the kind ones, can just be with himself, herself for a moment and just kind of feel himself or herself. I think it's possible. Just keep a peaceful moment, just keep a quiet moment with any place, doesn't matter where. Just think about yourself and just maybe think something like, I want to be with me. I want to be with, give it a name, your name basically, Laura or something like this, Peter. I want to be with Peter, and it's possible to do it. I'm very serious saying this, and it's not about what you read in some books. All this kind of, you have texts, books basically who say, do this, repeat this, say that. No, that's not about it. It's really not about these things. It's not about forcing your mind or something like this, or meditating or something. No, it's really about coming back to you basically. And I repeat it for the last time, I think it's possible for most kind persons to feel that way and just become, or just re-become yourself. Just go back to enter your name. Hopefully this helps you, and that's how you go in life. Again, the idea of this video was about the suffering from those dominating, more or less, individuals. That's the race, I guess. That's the planet. We live with those people. Not easy, but who knows? Maybe at least be yourself. At least go back to yourself and be well with yourself, and see if it's kind of ball, so to speak. Thanks for watching.